Welcome and thanks for joining us in our October seminar for Maximizing Your Certification, brought to you by B2G Victory and RFPSchoolWatch. Our time together when we talk about ways to maximize your certification is going to be broken up into a few categories. We're going to talk about overviews of certifications as well as their benefits, things to consider when you're looking at certifications for your business, content that you're going to need to collect for the various certifications, mistakes to avoid when you are going after your certifications, and ways to market your certifications once you receive them. I'm Julie Hartman with B2G Victory, joined by Emily Kelly with B2G Victory, as well as Amy Ball with RFPSchoolWatch. At B2G Victory, we help with a variety of things to help you win your next government contract. And those can work in tandem or they can work individually to help you secure that contract. We offer certifications and recertification assistance, capture management, helping you actually write and manage that proposal and helping you develop your proposal library, registration, process improvement. Maybe you've already won quite a few contracts in the government space, as well as coaching and training in one-on-one settings, as well as in group settings. So the entire team at B2G Victory is Rebecca, who's a co-founder, Mark Craig, business advisor. Helping us, and the muscle behind all of these webinars is Emily Kelly, our project manager. And like I said, myself, Julie Hartman, a co-founder of B2G Victory. So there's four of us. We're small, but we're really, really mighty. But what we want to make sure that you are aware of is that we have a Victory portal that you're able to access anytime, day or night, that will give you quick answers, maybe eliminate some of the frustration that you might have with going after government contracts, as well as build your capacity and gain your knowledge. And most importantly, the Victory portal is resources on demand. So that's videos, that's a glossary, that's frequently asked questions, that's small recordings of all sorts of different webinars and all sorts of tools and templates available for you. We value your time and we want to help you grow your business. So because you're here in an RFPSchoolWatch webinar, you're able to get a discount. So if you go to the B2G Victory membership website and you enter in RFPSchoolWatch, you'll get 3 months free. So think about it, like the rest of 2023 is for free, and even a little bit of 2024. So it's $150 total discount. So you'll get entire year for only $350. So that's your anytime access for questions in government space. So our partner in our webinar series in 2023, as well as moving forward, is Amy Ball with RFPSchoolWatch, and she's going to share some information about them.
Thank you, Julie. I'm super excited to be here today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Here at RFPSchoolWatch, we work with our clients to customize and capture relevant bid opportunities in their market sector. So we help to build a keyword list that is unlimited. And then we capture and send those bid alerts to our clients every day. We're monitoring all bids being posted across the US and Canada in the K-12, higher ed, and state and local spaces. So we would love to work with you. If you have not registered for samples, we provide you with free samples so that you can see what we're capturing every day in your market sector. You can do that today. That link will be over in the chat section there. And also, if you're ready to get started and you want to start capturing those bids every day as they're posted in your market, you can do so and save 10% by using the promo code on the screen now. That's Web10. We would love to work with you. So if you have any questions, get in touch.
We've been having this relationship with RFPSchoolWatch for a couple of years now, and it really works well. So once you've got the leads and you've got the bids, we can help you get those across the finish line, whether that's developing your proposal library, helping you get intel, helping you just read it and understand it, and then ultimately growing your business through government contracts. Our session today, as well as all of the other sessions for 2023, through our Insights for Success series with RFPSchoolWatch are located on our YouTube channel. And today's session will also be recorded and posted there as well. And you'll get a link because you've registered for this session and attended. We'll send you the direct link for today's recording, but go ahead and subscribe to our channel so that when we do other seminars or other videos that we post, maybe it's a victory vocabulary word or a short, you'll be notified as well when you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So once again, all of the videos for the Insights to Success webinar series with RFPSchoolWatch are here on our YouTube channel, as well as we're going to post today's recording on the YouTube channel afterwards and send you the direct link. Well, let's go ahead and jump in and get started and get engaged. And Emily's already been putting all of these helpful links in the chat. She's put in our contact information with B2G. She's put in Amy's with RFPSchoolWatch. So look in the chat for all these helpful links. And we want you to use the chat as a networking opportunity for other businesses. So go ahead and put your information in the chat. If you've got a specific question, we'd like for you to put it in the question and answer box. And then we will take, as they come in, we'll make sure to get those answered for you. We're going to cover a lot of information during our time together. And we want to make sure that the things that we talk about, you're able to implement immediately in your business. So you're taking the time out today and you're going to get actions in order to create your victory plan, your roadmap for success. And some of these are going to be things that you can do this week, right? We still have a few extra days left in this week, or maybe something next week, maybe later this month, or later in Q4. Or you hear something in this webinar that you want to put in your Q1 goals for 2024. So kind of keep these thoughts in mind of what are the immediate actions as well as long-term strategies that you're going to take away from our time together. Well, let's go ahead and jump right on in and talk about the overview of certifications. And there's quite a few different certifications that you can get that will help you benefit and give you a competitive advantage in the government space. So what exactly is a certification? Well, a certification validates that the business is at least. So depending on the type of certification you're going to get, depends on these categories. So for example, if you are going after a veteran-owned certification, your business needs to be 51% owned, operated, and controlled by a veteran U.S. citizen. That veteran must also hold the highest officer position and receive the highest compensation. So if you're a veteran, thank you very much for your service. We greatly appreciate you defending our freedom. And you might be eligible if your business is structured that way that you can get your veteran certification. If you're a woman and your business is 51% owned, controlled, operated, and managed by a woman or multiple women, you could be eligible for a woman-owned certification. If your business is 51% owned, operated, and controlled by a minimum of one U.S. citizen whose ethnic background is at least 25%, either Asian Indian, Asian Pacific, Black, Hispanic, or Native American, then you are eligible for a minority-owned certification. Also, you'll need to look and make sure that if you're going after the small business certification, your business doesn't exceed the small business size standard. So for example, if I had an engineering business, the SBA's small business size standard for an engineering business is $15 million a year in revenue. So that'd be a good problem to have if I no longer qualified as a small business, if I had an engineering firm and I was doing 18 and $20 million worth of business each year. And so in summary, we really want to stress that these certifications, depending on the type of category that you fall in and the type of certification that you're eligible for, is wall art and really can help you and benefit your business in the government space. So a few quick benefits to a business that has a certification is really just another tool, right? You still have to be qualified and have the capability and capacity to do the work. It's just an additional competitive advantage that allows you some additional opportunities. By having a certification, it allows you to diversify your customer base. These various certifications, we'll use women certification as an example. You can get a woman certification on the federal level. You can get a woman certification on the state level, as well as a woman certification on the local level. So if you're looking to diversify your customer base, maybe I'm in K through 12 and I want to now do work for higher ed, which would be universities or community college or junior colleges. Now I'm able to diversify and insulate my business against market volatility, right? Eligibility to participate in goal-oriented contracts. And we're going to cover that as well, that each agency has different contract goals for different types of certifications. So primes are very, very attracted to subcontractors that have certain certifications, right? And the private sector also has lots of opportunities for businesses that meet certain qualifications. For example, Dell has a supplier diversity program that accepts certain certifications. Oil and gas companies do, even Target does. So think about back to diversifying your customer base, not only here in the government space, but also in the large corporate space. There are special education and mentoring programs just for certified businesses through the various organizations that certify them. So additional opportunities for you with those programs, and they're typically packaged or put together with networking and event opportunities. For example, right now, the national conference for the National Association of Minority Contractors is going on right now. So that's all of the minorities that are in the construction space on a national level are all at the annual conference, which has seminars and networking events and all of those types of things and awards. So, and then directory listings, right? It becomes almost a numbers game. And as you're certified, you're able to, indicate those certifications in the various directories with the different government agencies. So we've got lots of different ways and lots of support systems that give you an advantage and give you benefits as a certified business. Whew, that was a lot, right? Okay, so we've talked about what is a certification and all of these great benefits, but which certification is right for me? And how do I decide on which one to go after? Well, we're going to talk about some certification considerations. So a few certification considerations. The first one is client needs. Now is the perfect time to start thinking about either which certifications you have or which certifications you want to go after while you're working on your 2024 budget. And the majority of government agencies are already in their fiscal 2024 budget. So think about, who do you want as your top 5 client? Is that another local school district? Is that another agency? Maybe I want to diversify from state and go now to local, or vice versa, or county, right? And so take the time to figure out who you want your target client to be and what their specific needs are for your goods and service. That'll help you decide if that's the right certification to go after. And we're going to show you some examples from different agencies where it clearly articulates which certifications that they recognize, as well as what their goals are. Ready? The time frame. Some certifications take a little bit longer than others. Some have multi-year renewals, and some you're going to need to renew once a year. With renewals, it's not as time intensive as the original certification, but you still need to take those things into consideration. Also, when you go after one certification, about 50 to 60% of the content that one certification you'll be using in another certification. So think about, when you're going back to your client needs, what are some complementary agencies or complementary services that you might be able to provide to that agency. Some certifications require a site visit, and don't be intimidated. Well, if you work out of your home, right? The majority of these are virtual site visits. If they do a physical site visit, you'll let them know that you want, that you work from home. And some of them, if you're not comfortable with them coming to your home, will allow you to meet at a coffee shop or a restaurant or, a co-working space in the area. Renewal terms. You've got to stay on top of your certifications, because if they lapse, then you have to start all over again. So make sure that the certifications that you are looking into, you are aware of the renewals, as well as what do you need to renew. For example, B2G Victory right now, we are working on our renewals for all of our certifications, the annual. So Emily has been getting all of that paperwork right and getting that all over to all of the agencies. And you'll want to put like a ticker in whatever task management system you use, or in your calendar, or make an appointment with yourself, not 30 days before the certification renews, but 90 days, right? Because you want to make sure that it doesn't lapse and you get everything to that respective agency if they have any questions. Processing fees. So some certifications are free to apply and some cost money. For example, the WBEA, which is through the WBENC, it costs money to do. Federal certifications and state certifications, depending on where you live, may or may not cost any money. So those are kind of, in summary, the 5 considerations that we recommend when you're looking at either expanding the types of certification that your business has, or maybe getting some certifications for the first time. I'm going to show you just some websites. And as I show you on the screen, these different websites, Emily's going to be putting these links directly in the chat. And so if this is a certification that you don't have, that you might be interested in doing some additional research and looking into, you can just copy it straight out of the chat and put that maybe in your Q4 goals, or maybe it's a Q1 goal, right? So start thinking about, as we go through these certifications, are these agencies, do they fit within your growth plan for the immediate next year, or maybe 3 to 5 years? If you want to do work on the federal level, so this is work with the federal government, the link is certified.sba.gov. And it walks you straight through, and it has this great question and answer. Are you this? Are you that? And then at the end, it'll tell you which certifications, based on your answers, that you were eligible for. So that's the SBA on the federal level. I touched on a couple of Fortune 500 companies that are on the national level. For example, Shell, Exxon, Target, Walmart, the PGA Tour. So if you are a minority or majority minority owned business, you can get a national certification through the National Minority Supplier Development Council, right? And that does have a fee associated with it. So start thinking about, what is your eligibility? Where do I want to grow my business? And which certifications are the right fit for you? Continuing on a national level, and we're going to start national and then come down to state and then local. If you are a woman-owned company, there's the eligibility criteria on the screen for the WBENC certification. And so right there, it says that your business has to be at least 51% owned, controlled, operated, and managed by a woman or women. The WBEN certification is recognized by Fortune 100 companies as well, right? And so if I am a minority woman, you could get both of those, or you could choose which one works best for you. Closing us out on the national level in terms of certifications is the National LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce. And Emily has dropped that in there. That's the last link in the grouping of links that she's put on there. And so there are hundreds of corporate companies that have goals for LGBTQ certifications, as well as a couple of government agencies. For example, the city of Houston has LGBT certification goals for various projects as well. So we wanted to show you a flavoring and a wide variety of certifications on the national level. We do not have time to go through every 50 of the states. So we're just going to do a peppering of a few states regarding state and local certifications. And if there's a specific state that you're in and would like some help figuring out those certifications, go ahead and reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you and see which one is the right fit for you and help you get those certifications and figure out which ones you're eligible for. So Florida, here's the Florida, and in Florida, it is the Office of Supplier Diversity, right? And we can see here on the screen that Florida does woman, veteran, and minority owned. And then there are all of their eligibility requirements. So you must be also based in Florida, as well as registered to do business in the state of Florida as well. And then you can see their additional certification requirements, and you've got to be registered. So if you don't understand those types of requirements, then go ahead and reach out and ask us. We've got a question here that says, do you have any particular certifications you found to be the best for education, professional, technical services space? Alicia, thanks for asking that. And I would do some research on that. And so if you haven't reached out to Amy with RFPSchoolWatch, give her your specific keywords. And then she'll send you like not just one or two, but like 5 to 10 bid samples. And in those bids, it'll say which certifications those agencies are looking for. And so kind of channel your inner Stephen Covey and begin with the end in mind. And if you want to do local, state, or national with education. And so if you're looking to do it on the local level, then contact those school districts or those colleges or universities and see which ones that they take. And if there are some specific agencies that you're looking for samples from, make sure to communicate that to Amy with RFPSchoolWatch, and they'll do the best that they can to find samples. They're in your keywords, or at least in the geographic area that you're looking for. So we're going to move a little bit around in the South, and we're going to talk about the state of Georgia. So the state of Georgia has a couple different programs in their diversity in entrepreneurship. So they've got a small business program. Then you can go to the Georgia Department of Economic Development. And if you're specific in transportation, they've got a DBE program. And when you think of transportation, I don't want y'all to just be limited with obviously bridges, streets, sidewalks, and roads. But for example, here in Texas, the Texas Department of Transportation is doing a ton of renovations in their offices. So if you're in the construction space and diversifying your business in offices, then you might want to reach out and look to see what type of new construction or renovation the Department of Transportation is looking for. Or let's, for example, you do office supplies. Well, they're a business, they need pens and pencils and paper as well. So think about, a little bit wider reach when you're looking at the agencies that you want to do business with, as well as the certifications that those agencies offer, in addition to which certifications that you are eligible for. We're going to move over to the west side of the United States and go all the way over to California. We've got the State of California Procurement Division, as well as the California State Government Marketplace. Those two links, you'll be able to get information on the eligibility criteria, as well as looking and seeing what the different goals are for the state of California, right? And then a lot of these federal, state, and local certifications, like I said, offer education, offer one-on-one appointments, and put on different like buyer meetings and matchmaker meetings as well. And that's really important back to, getting those samples from RFPSchoolWatch and figuring out who you want to do work with. So then when you've already gotten that sample bid, you know who the buyer is, then you can have a very articulate and educated conversation with that buyer, setting you apart from everyone else. Here in our home state of Texas, this is Texas's program, and it's called HUB, and it stands for Historically Underutilized Business Program. So any contract within the state of Texas, $50,000 or more, has various goals. And so they want you to look, and there's the different goals that are set depending on the different types of service that you're providing. So back to Alicia's question, you can see professional services and all other services. If you were doing work in the state of Texas, professional services goals is 23.7%, and all other services and contracts are 26. So when you've got your certification, you can either meet these goals at any state by performing the work by yourself, or going and being a subcontractor to a prime, which we're going to talk about as well. New York, we're coming all the way back up to the northeast of the United States. So New York State has a service-disabled veteran-owned business separate from the minority and women-owned businesses. So New York has two different goals. And if you are a service-disabled veteran-owned business and a woman, then if you're on a project, you can fulfill both of those goals. Alrighty, closing some things out. We're coming down. We're getting quite a geography lesson today. We're going to come down to Virginia. So Virginia has a couple of different certification types. We've got the small woman and minority owned, disadvantaged business enterprise, historically Black college and universities, service disabled veterans, micro businesses, which is different than a small business, and if you are an employment services organization. Closing this out for the states is the Texas Department of Transportation, which I already kind of alluded to as well. I want to pause here and talk about the federal infrastructure dollars that are federal dollars that are coming through various state agencies. That might also be something when you're doing your research and you're reviewing those sample bids that Amy is going to send over to you when you request them, is go and look and pay close attention to those bid opportunities and see if there is federal infrastructure dollars tied to that, as well as that could be a great question that you ask the buyer when you're in your buyer meeting. Well, how do I find out who the buyer is? It will be directly listed on that bid opportunity that you're going to be getting from RFPSchoolWatch. So your city, depending on maybe if you live in Chicago or here in Houston, each city may have a department. Here in Houston, it's called the Office of Business Opportunity. And you can see that all of these different agency departments are somewhat similar, but just named a little bit different. So here's the City of Houston overview. And back to that slide when I was talking about certification considerations. If you're in Houston and I wanted to get a City of Houston certification, right now it's taking anywhere between 6 to 8 months from when you apply. So if I found an opportunity that was due in 2 weeks for the City of Houston, and I wanted to get my certification to do that work, to fulfill a goal, that's not going to happen. So also when you're looking at your victory plan, make sure and do the research on the certifications, because this could be a marathon and not a sprint. Also, when you're looking at certifications, look at who accepts those certifications, because there might be reciprocity where other agencies accept other certifications. Houston Metro, for example, which is our transportation agency here, is a great certification to get. It is race and gender neutral, so they only have what's called the small business program. And various school districts in the Houston area accept the Metro certification. So once again, about diversifying your client base, look at when you get those bid samples from Amy and RFPSchoolWatch, there will be a page which says the certifications that they accept and where to go get those. So then you can start really maximizing your certification and going after the certifications that are accepted with the multiple target agencies that you want to do work with. And Metro is a great example of that. So quite a few other certifications kind of closing us out is the Illinois Commission of Equity and Inclusion, as well as Tennessee, Indiana, Phoenix, Ohio, as well as Missouri. So a nice kind of filling in of the Midwest from our geography journey from where we went from the South all the way over to the West, up to the Northeast, and we're ending in the Midwest. So I hope that we've been able to give you a variety of different certifications on not only the federal level, but the state and local level as well. So how do I even figure out what codes when I'm going for these certifications? So the NAICS code, which is the North American Industry Classification System, will help you figure out all of these code numbers, because when you go for certifications, you are not only going to be certified by the agency, but you're going to be certified by the different products and services that you offer. So back to Alicia's question, I would come here, I would go into the keywords and put in, tutoring or education or office supplies, and then your NAICS codes will pop up. So buyers buy from NAICS codes. Those directories will have the NAICS codes listed. I should get a quarter every time I talk about Amy with their sample bids, but when you get the sample bids from Amy, it will have the keywords as well as the NAICS code. So once again, that will help you look to see which types of products and services those target agencies are looking for that you offer, as well as the NAICS codes that you're going to get your certifications with. So this is used by the US, Canada, and Mexico. And remember, if you're doing work in Canada, RFPSchoolWatch can help you find those bids as well. We're actually helping a client right now diversify from Canada into the United States with government agencies. So there's the NAICS codes. And then in addition to NAICS codes on the local level or on the county level are NIGP codes. And these are going to vary across the state. But when you go here, this will definitely be a good start for you. Once again, when you're getting those sample bids, you'll see the keywords as well as the NIGP codes that are associated with those keywords. And if you have any questions, once you get those sample bids on how to read them, if it's overwhelming, what do those words mean? You can schedule a time with us on bookings. Emily's going to drop that in the chat. You can reach out to hello, or you can go to the portal and go into the glossary and start searching for those keywords or put in some FAQs, and you can get some answers there. We've got a question here. Is there a different process for pursuing contracts that are $30,000 and under? Do certifications count at that level? Great question, and thank you for asking it. And I'm going to kind of dissect that and take it into two parts. So different agencies have different levels of what is a formal solicitation and an informal. So under $30,000 in some instances, excuse me, would be considered informal, and you can just go directly to that buyer and be listed in their directory, and they can either get one quote or maybe three. Each agency will have their evaluation criteria, and they can just go straight to you. And your certifications do count at that level. So whether it's a formal or informal opportunity, your certification counts. And how many of you would be okay getting a $30,000 contract, right? I'd be okay with that. Absolutely, right? So we can help you figure that out. And once you get those samples from Amy with RFPSchoolWatch, you've got right there who the buyer is. You've got their phone number, their email address. You can reach out to them and say, I'm interested in doing work with you. I'd like to understand a little bit more about your procurement process. Maybe go to their website and download their procurement manual, and it will tell you what that threshold is. Some places it's 50,000, some places it's 100,000, some agencies it's 25,000. right? So yeah, I'd definitely be okay with a $30,000 contract, 100%. Alrighty, so the application. So now we've done our research, we've got our target agencies, and now we're going to get our paperwork ready. Go do your research first. Start getting what they need, right? We saw that eligibility list on all of those different websites. Start getting your information together before you start the application. Because once you start that application, that time ticker is tick, 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 ticking. And some of them will close you out after 30 days, and some of them will close you out after 60 days. And then you get to start all over again. But the worst part of it is that you get put back at the end of the line. So get all of your stuff ready in the beginning. So we're going to go over just common certification sections. And remember, I said that about 50% of this you're going to use for different certifications, whether it is a woman-owned, a minority, small business, veteran-owned, or if you're going from your local certification to a state certification, or maybe from a state to a federal. It's a lot of information. We've done this quite a bit. So here's just some required and requested documents, and make sure that you have all of this, like I said, whether it's on your Google Drive, on your OneDrive, on a shared drive, and have it organized. So put all of your legal documents together, your formation documents. And some of you may have, formed your company many years ago, where you're going to need to go get those. Any partnership agreements, your bylaws, an LLC agreement, your DUNS number, and then your NIGP codes and NAICS codes. So that's all of kind of your legal stuff if you want to make a folder for that. All of your financial stuff, your previous year's taxes. If you are not willing to provide your business taxes, then you're not going to be able to get any certifications. They want to see, and some people are like, oh, but I did not do very well last year. That's okay. They've got to see that you are filing your taxes properly. Then you also need your financials. So your balance sheet, statement of cash flow, and your profit and loss, which is also called your income statement. And some certifications will ask to have copies of invoices. So they're making sure that you are actually doing business, that you are transacting commerce. Other types of things that you're going to be asked for with your certification are managerial items. If you do office, right, and even if it's a co-working space, copy of an office lease, maybe it's equipment, copy of equipment leases, or additional contracts. So those are the types of things that are definitely required and requested. And just some examples, mistakes to avoid. We don't want y'all to have any mistakes when you're going for your certification, right? We want you to get that check mark and fly through with flying colors. So we're going to go very quickly through some common certification mistakes. Not understanding your own legal documents. Back to getting those documents together, seeing what they want, and reviewing it. A common example we see all the time is where the woman or minority owner owns 51%. However, the quorum is 70%. So they can't legally make a decision without the other 49% agreeing with them. So she is not in control. Another thing is, with a husband and wife, if you're going after your woman-owned certification, then you must have the ability to fire everyone. That means your husband. So make sure that they're okay with that, or your partner. And you also have the ability to shut the company down if you decide that that's the best thing to do. So these are the types of things that, as they're looking through your legal documents, and that goes back to the management and control of the company. Is she involved in the day-to-day operations? Another mistake that we see is people trying to apply for a certification when they find an opportunity. So when you sign up for RFPSchoolWatch and you get that bid and it's due in 2 weeks and it has a goal for a certification, you can still go after it. Absolutely, you still can if you have the capacity and capabilities. What won't count is your certification if you haven't started it. So don't even put pending certifications. So once again, think about your strategy, think about your long-term goals and what types of certifications you're going to need. Back to the clock ticking. As soon as you register, that clock tick, 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 and 90 days goes super fast. So get all of your application information together, and every single website for certification either has a PDF that you can download or has the bullet points of what you need. Start that before you start setting up a user profile. Wrapping up your certification mistakes is when your certifications don't match your business goal, right? It takes a lot of time, and time is money. And each one has a recertification contract. So now is the ideal time to think about where you're projecting your business growth, your business strategy, and your business offerings. And Jared asked a question: is there a single source that lists each state's pending threshold for RFPs and public bids? There is not a single source that lists every single state. They're all fractured. We are working on that in our B2G Victory portal. Emily has been working on that for almost 2 years. And as we are getting them, we are adding them, but there is not a state spending for each state. They are fractured. Now with the federal government, there is, but each independent state is decentralized. The one mistake that we see time and time again, and it is so disheartening, is when an opportunity comes up and their certification has expired. So that perfect opportunity comes up and their certification expired a month ago, 3 days ago, or whatever. You've got to keep them up to date. And then do not, it is so frustrating to everyone, whether that's the buyer, the prime contractor, to list certifications that are pending. It's a yes or a no. It is black, it is white. There is no gray area. And missing signatures. If you miss signatures or have spots that need to be notarized and you don't do that, some agencies put you to the back of the line. Some of them will set you off to the side. So make sure that you have all of the copies signed and submitted. And it's almost like you're buying a house or leasing an apartment. You're signing and signing and signing. All righty, we're going to close this section out and make sure that you have your NIGP codes and your NAICS codes ready. So now we have our certification and we are ready to maximize it with those relationships that I've talked about. So a prime contractor is going to be the one who holds the contract with the agency. So here's a quick example of a prime. So they would be the general contractor or the project manager. And let's say the goal is 30%. Well, I'm going to get a painting and sheetrock company. I'm going to get an electrical contractor, and I'm going to get an HVAC. And these three are going to be certified. So 30% of the contract goes to these three companies that are qualified. Now, I can have other companies on this contract that are not certified. So I don't want y'all to think that there's this misconception that if I don't have my certifications, you can't do business. That is not the truth. When you have your certification, it provides an additional advantage that you have not only to the agency, but the prime contractor. So with this example, 10% goes to the painting and sheetrock, 10% goes to electrical, and 10% goes to HVAC. Then you fulfilled your 30% goal. And I could have two HVAC contractors, one that's certified and then one that isn't, for example. All righty. So how do I find out? How do I figure out where to go to be one of those subcontractors? Those bids that Amy's going to send you, those sample bids, some of them will have, and you're going to be looking for a combination of these three words, either a pre-bid conference, a pre-submittal conference, or a pre-proposal conference. Sometimes these are mandatory, sometimes they're not. But as a certified company that wants to grow in this space, this is an amazing opportunity for you to get exposure and for companies to find out more about you and find out about the products and services that you offer. So here's an example of Port Houston, and they've got the information about the pre-proposal meeting. It was held on November the 22nd at 10 a.m. via WebEx. And so some of these are virtual and some of these are in person. And once you get those sample bids from Amy, then you'll go to that agency's website. Then you can see all of the different opportunities that are there. You can download the pre-bid presentations and the sign-in sheets. Those sign-in sheets have the contact information. So now I know where to go to get that prime contractor information and who I need to go market my certification to, because I'm not ready to be a prime. And sometimes you'll find that your profit margins as a subcontractor are higher than the prime contractor, right? If you were the prime. So don't be afraid to just do what you do and do it really, really well, because I assure you that you will continue to grow your business in this space as a subcontractor. There are many, many businesses in the government space that have grown extremely successful businesses with revenues in the millions performing subcontractor duties. Here's an example of a pre-bid meeting attendance sign-in sheet. You see the name, first name, last name, their email address, what company they work for, their phone numbers. So I'm going to go to Vegas on these odds because now I know the people who want my bids and services, and I've got their contact information. So when you're at that pre-submittal conference or you're looking through the sign-in sheet, these are the different types of titles that you might see on them, or when Amy sends you those bids. If you have any questions about reading those bids or dissecting them, feel free to reach out to hello@B2G Victory, and we can jump on a call and help you dissect that information and understand some of the terminology. But what I want y'all to get for this takeaway is that these pre-submittal conferences and all of these people all lead to the money. Follow the money. Follow the money trail, because that money leads to contracts. Those contracts leads to relationships, and those relationships lead to invoices. So back to getting everything ready, just like you're going to have your certification folders ready, you're going to have your subcontractor folder ready. And some of this is the same information. So you're going to need a W-9, which you want to have your W-9 ready to go at any point in time anyway, because that's how people are going to pay you, and a few other things. Veronica, if you want to get samples for Houston, I'm going to have Amy put that link in the chat right now, and then you can fill out the form, and then you're going to put the keywords and all of that in there. So when you are doing your subcontractor request form, so once you've identified those primes, here's some examples of why your certifications are so important and how they can work for you. This is an example of a subcontractor qualification form. And you can see right there, is your firm certified? Attach your current certification. And I cannot stress that enough. You need to make sure that your certifications are current. All righty, here's just another example. And these are website examples for your subcontractor certification. So in closing out this section, your certifications count. Having a certification and having the capacity and the capability to do the work is so important, not only to agencies, but as well as to prime contractors. And we're going to just show you a few marketing examples when you've got your certifications, regardless if it's just one or two or three, you need to make sure that people are aware of your certifications. So here's a quick checklist for you to put the different types of certifications that you have. And some of these are going to be applicable to some of you, some of them are not, right? So take two or three of them, throw the rest of them away. You're not going to hurt our feelings, but we wanted to make sure to give you a good variety. So capability statements, business cards, websites, trade show materials, put it on your social media, in your LinkedIn About Us. Also, when you renew your certification, right? That's just another post that you can put and keep your social media active. When you're doing a presentation, put it in ads, put it in your email newsletter, put it on your invoices, put it on your vehicle graphics, and make sure to put it, if you have a physical location, put it in your lobby. Here's a capability statement, and then here's the zoom in of that capability statement and the different types of certifications that our client Greg has on his capability statement. If you want to know what a capability statement is and how you can use that, just drop us an email at hello@B2G Victory. Here's a coffee company, and you can see right there on their vehicle graphics that they've got woman-owned. So they are a certified woman-owned business. And so closing out our time together, and I see a few more questions, so I want to make sure to get to those, that your certification is not wall art. That was funny, right? You really want to hang it maybe in your office or in your lobby, but you need to make sure that it does the work for you. So we've covered a lot of information on ways to maximize your certification. And so I'd love for maybe somebody to jot in the chat an action that they're going to do maybe this week, or something that you're going to take away later this month, or maybe in November or December, or maybe it's a long-term goal of something that you learned today through this webinar with B2G Victory and RFPSchoolWatch that you're going to implement in Q1 of 2024. We've been doing these monthly Insights for Success webinars with RFPSchoolWatch, and we want your feedback. We want to know what your challenges are and additional content that you'd like for us to talk about. We are currently working on our 2024 calendar. So if there are specific challenges or frustrations or things that you would like for us to cover, please make sure to fill that out in the post-event survey that Emily is dropping in the chat right now. Alrighty, and then you've got the link, the YouTube link to all of the previous recordings for our webinar series. And I'm going to hand it over to Amy for a few closing comments.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, so if you've not registered for samples, be sure to do that. We try to provide at least a good, 10 to 15, sometimes 20 samples, just to give you a picture of what we're seeing related to the services and products you provide. We monitor daily, we distribute bids daily, and we work to make sure that you have all of the documents you need so that you know what those certifications, those requirements are, so that you have the contacts you need to reach out to those decision makers and build relationships with potential customers. So we would love to work with you. Also, check out our website. We have a new blog there, and we're posting weekly blogs with just really good information, educational things to equip you, to help you in your RFP processes. So we would love to have you join us there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. They've put our contact information over there in the side in the chat section. So yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. We'd love to work with you.
Thanks so much, Amy. And we've got Amy's information on the screen, and it's dropped in the chat as well. And we want you to join us at other things. Like I said, this is an ecosystem of entrepreneurs and small businesses that are looking to help each other grow and grow together. We've got 4 more sessions scheduled out for 2023. We've got a variety of in-person and virtual, and Emily's dropping those in the chat. An in-person maximizer certification if you're here in the Houston area. A walkthrough, a step-by-step walkthrough of our B2G Victory portal is on November 17th. Ready to bid. This is one that's specifically hosted by HISD and B2G Victory on November 29th. And then we'll have our last session of 2023 with RFPSchoolWatch on November 28th. So make sure if those dates work with you to register for those, the virtual ones. If those dates don't work for you, go ahead and register anyway. And just like today, we will send you the recording, and you can access today's recording and all of our previous videos. We've got almost 125. After today's up there, we'll have 125 videos on our YouTube channel. So please subscribe, and you'll get notified when we add more. And then want to make sure to close out. We want to do business with you. We want to help support you. And most importantly, we want to be able to give you answers anytime that you need them. So sign up for the Victory portal. Use the code RFPSchoolWatch to get 3 months free. It's typically $50 a month. So you'll get a whole year for $350. We really want you to be successful. And on behalf of the entire team at B2G Victory and RFPSchoolWatch, we thank you for joining us today. We thank you for your time, and we'll stick around for a little bit longer, but this concludes our session for Maximize Your Certification with B2G Victory and RFPSchoolWatch. Have a great day. Alicia, all right, you've got a question. In terms of maximizing certifications, when we see a bid opportunity that has been set aside for a particular certification, are we able to petition the contracting officer to be considered sole source, or is that a distinction they determine as they're putting out the bid? Whew. That's a great question. Typically, when they do a set aside, and I'm going to use a federal example, they have already determined that it's going to be there. Now, what I have seen, Alicia, in examples is if that set aside, either the people who do apply or submit for that bid are not eligible, or they don't meet the need, or for whatever reason, they don't award it, then it could be a sole source. And so when you find that example, that bid, and that might be in some of those sample bids that you get from RFPSchoolWatch, there's a question and answer period. And make sure to ask that question during the question and answer period. Or when you get the sample bids from RFPSchoolWatch, and you can see that it was awarded, maybe, the sample bid is already closed back in March. Since that's closed, take that time to start that relationship with that agency and that contracting officer to let them know a couple of things. One, you can do the work, you're ready to get to work, what certifications you do have, and that you want to do business with them. Because there might be some additional opportunities for that scope of work that they could either sole source it to you as an informal opportunity or sole source it to you as a formal opportunity when that bid comes up for renewal. Because when you're looking at those bids, you'll be able to see if it's maybe a 1+3, which is a 1-year bid with 3 concurrent renewals. So that would be 4 years. And we are seeing, and Amy can attest to this, quite a few bids that are coming out that are during previous renewal periods. We just helped a custodial company apply last week to a school district that they had awarded just a year ago, custodial janitorial contract to a nationwide company. And one of the questions that was asked is, why is this going out to bid when they're still in the renewal period, the potential renewal period? And the question was answered that they are not happy with the incumbent and they are looking for a new provider. And anytime, you're talking to a contracting officer or an agency or, protesting or petitioning, always make sure to be, at the highest caliber of professionalism, and that you are seeking to understand, nobody has done anything wrong. You just want to be able to have a chance and an opportunity to do business with that agency. Well, thanks again, everyone. We hope to see you at an upcoming RFP B2G Victory webinar. Please reach out to either company. Either you can reach out to Amy with all of her contact information, register for sample bids, send an email to hello@B2G Victory, or use the booking link that Emily has provided. And we wish you the best of an afternoon and much success. Thanks again for joining us.